Yeah, without making you wait any longer, this is Jake's Speedway 500. Okay, so some really obvious sort of like similarities with the Speedway bike. A real hallmark of their motorcycles that differentiates them, vastly from anything else is a 23-inch front wheel. That's a staple on a Speedway bike that you won't find anywhere else. 19-inch rear wheel, and then between those two wheels and the gearbox and engine, everything has been hand-built on this motorcycle. We've got a GM 500 Speedway engine. This is from the mid-80s, early 90s, before they started to lay the engines over, where the piston operates horizontally now. And one of the sort of early discussion points that we had with Jake was the 4-speed gearbox. These bikes run a clutch and either a single gear or 2-speed for long track, but if you're riding on the street, you need a little bit more than that. So we've mated the GM engine that Phil Crump rebuilt to run on normal pump fuel to a 4-speed Norton gearbox. And this was made brand new out of the box by a mob in New Zealand. So you can buy these vintage gearboxes off the shelf. With those two things in place, we started to plan the frame build. And again, one of the real hallmarks of these Speedway bikes, and it's great that these guys have bought in these vintage Speedway bikes so you can really see what we've sort of been inspired by, is the really steep rake angle. So they run a super steep front end, so when they're laid over on the side at full lock, the rake angle is correct, how you should ride it, which is a weird way to design a motorcycle, but it works for racing, I guess. The front suspension is completely bespoke. That was something that we really deviated from the Speedway. I bought one of these front ends and I put it up against the bike and started to look at it, and it just didn't look strong enough to ride on the street. I wouldn't trust it. So I used it as an excuse to get creative and design and fabricate my own front suspension setup. So I had 8 or so sketches on the drawing board with the frame that was already done. And this is the one that Jake and I landed on, something that I had sort of in the back of my mind for a little while. I wanted to create a Springer style fork. So the only thing that's not really handmade on the front forks is the rockers here that sort of link the suspension to the axle, this part. The style or the way that it operates is very similar to a vintage Harley Davidson Springer, but I didn't want to see the springs, so I made a set of telescopic forks on my machines at the shop that operate the suspension. So